So I am in the sedan that Louis purchased from our buddy Mike. It is, oops, let me unlock the steering wheel even though it's running. So he built it to be a drift car and ended up selling it before he did anything with it. We put a welded diff in it and bled the brakes, and that is basically all it really needed to go drifting. So once we did that, what we ended up doing is testing it in our lot, but we found out very quickly that the clutch is slipping. Now we're not sure if it is the clutch or if it's the flywheel or if there's just an issue with the pressure plate or something, but what we've noticed is, I mean, obviously the clutch slipped while trying to drift in second gear. Was able to do some drifts in first gear, but obviously the clutch is slipping. So what I did to test if the clutch was slipping is I put it in first gear, I held the handbrake, and you can let off the clutch completely, and it doesn't try and stall the car.
It freaked me out so bad. The whole rear end was like, I'm like, what the fuck?
I scared Louis.
Scared the fuck out of me.
Just testing to show that the clutch is slipping, so it doesn't try and stall.
Oh yeah.
You can let the clutch all the way out with the handbrake in, and the motor still spins. So there's either an issue with the flywheel, an issue with the pressure plate, or the clutch disc. The guy we got it from claims it's a brand new clutch disc. So my thought is either the pressure plate is old and doesn't create enough pressure, or the dual mass flywheel is separated and not allowing the clutch to grip and send the power to the wheels. Now what makes me think it's the flywheel is the fact that we don't smell any clutch burning. Even with slipping the clutch and holding the brake and not having the car really move at all, it is still not making any smoke or clutch smells. So that's what leads me to believe that it's a flywheel issue and not a clutch or pressure plate issue. But we'll see once I put it on the lift and pull the transmission out. So I've got the car up in the air and I've started pulling some stuff apart. I did the drive shaft center support. Next I'm going to do the flex disc. I did the trans mount and I took the slave out. And doing this, I noticed we're missing a bell housing bolt here and also here. And on top of missing bell housing bolts, you see this. This is a sign that this transmission is from a 4-cylinder. And if you look, it's a Get Drag 220. So it's from a 4-cylinder e36. So there's the transmission. It is 3:30 now. It took me about an hour and a half to get the transmission out. I fought the most with one of the starter bolts because whoever put this transmission on this motor didn't use the factory hardware, and when I felt up in the trans tunnel, it felt as if there was just a missing hardware, when in reality it was an Allen key instead of e-Torx. So I ended up breaking an ear off of the starter, and it caused quite a bit of grief getting this piece out, because that, where did it go? that Allen key was in this hole, and it had the flywheel, clutch, and pressure plate in this area with the transmission. This was bolted to the transmission, and it was holding the transmission on. So if you come over, take a look at the clutch, put the clutch over here, because it's a good clutch disc. There is plenty of meat left on this, so the clutch disc was not the problem. Now, the flywheel, it is a factory dual mass flywheel. It doesn't have the play isn't crazy. It's good enough to be reused. However, it has tons of hot spots. So it was, if I had to guess, I would say it was a combination of this dual mass flywheel being smoked along with this pressure plate being smoked. And you can see in here how hot this had gotten at one point. So it was definitely a pressure plate flywheel issue. So we've got a new clutch setup for it. Which is the same kit that I run on my turbo car. It's a 6-puck sprung disc with a single mass flywheel. So it'll be a lot better. So it's the next day. I didn't finish the transmission yesterday, but it's out and the new clutch is ready to go in. As you can see, it is snowing and I am still driving my drift car. Everyone wonders, how do you drive the drift car in the snow? Well, it's pretty easy. Yes, you worry about getting stuck when you are stopped, but as long as you have just a little bit of momentum, you're good. And the best part about driving a drift car in the snow is simply the fact that this car has been built by me to react in slide however I want it to, which simply means if I'm sliding, the inputs that I do, unless obviously I have zero traction completely, the car does what I want it to do. So yes, it can be somewhat sketchy sometimes, but as long as you understand controlling the car, which it's my drift car, so of course I understand controlling it, I don't really have to worry all that much. And this poor guy, nice truck, maybe you should get some better tires for it. Here I am in my rear-wheel drive turbocharged BMW doing better than people in trucks and SUVs, simply because I understand how to control a car and I put decent tires on it. I'm headed back to the shop now. I don't know that I'm going to do the clutch today, but I'm at least gonna go help with a little bit of the snow cleanup around the shop, because that's what I ended up doing for most of yesterday after I pulled the transmission out. Was help move cars around so that, you know, there's not a bunch of cars in the way when we need to clear out the lot. It's a cop up there. Sick. He looped it. What a loser. See, the thing is, going sideways okay, but you want to make sure that you're staying on your own side of the road, but not necessarily staying on your own side of the road, but making it so that if you do see a car, you're able to get back onto your side of the road quickly. Oh, look, a car. Good thing I'm on my side of the road. Past the car, sideways. Another car, look at that. Good thing I'm on my side of the road. So it's okay to be a degenerate. You just need to be respectful of other people as well. You know? Love this car. It's so good. this is going to be interesting. Putting them snow tires to the test. Let's get this angle better first of all. Terrible. Obviously, I'm lucky there's no cars coming, but not bad. What a good car. And just like that, I am back at the shop again to finish up that clutch job on that e36 sedan. I just pulled the pilot bearing and I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that thing's definitely bad. So the clutch kit comes with a new one. To get the pilot bearing out, I just used a pry bar that fit through the hole, and we have this slide hammer that is welded on to vice grips. So I just stuck this through the hole and then vice gripped onto the back of it and use the slide hammer to pull it out. So now I just need to press the new one in. Gonna go right in there. Press the new one in, and then once the new one's in, we're able to bolt up the flywheel. Once we have the flywheel on, we can put the clutch on. Once we have the clutch on, we can mount the pressure plate. And then once we have the pressure plate on, we can pull the pin on the clutch tool, and then we're able to finish putting the transmission back in and making sure that the car is all good to go. Yeah, so let's get to it. So when you're doing an E36 clutch, you want to pay attention to what you're doing, because looking at the clutch disc, you see this side is flat and this side has a lip on it. Now, naturally, you would think that this side goes towards the engine, but they always tell you to make sure you read all the directions. This is the clutch disc, the box for the clutch disc. It sits in here like this. So when you go to open it, you see that it says flywheel side. Flywheel side is up. And then on top of that, it says flywheel side right on the disc itself. So yes, you can mess up and put it backwards. It will fit backwards, but what ends up happening is as you go, see, when the clutch is like this, now I'm not gonna put it on like this, I'm just showing you. When the clutch is on like this, with, you know, the hat sticking out this way, what ends up happening is the pressure plate grinds on these, on the nubs, and it fuses the disc between the pressure plate and the flywheel. And what ends up happening is, because the pressure plate is not able to move, you end up with not being able to take the car in and out of gear with the motor running because the clutch won't release. So you want to make sure that when you're doing your clutch on your E36 that you read the clutch and read the directions and make sure that the flywheel side is not visible, that the flywheel side goes in the flywheel. That's why there's this, it's recessed like that, so you're able to have the clutch disc in there. And that's how you want it. You want the flat side facing towards the transmission. Otherwise, you're gonna have a bad time. And you're gonna have to pull your transmission back out. And you're probably gonna have to replace the disc and the pressure plate. All right, so the flywheel is torqued. The flywheel bolts get torqued to 77 pound-feet. The pressure plate is torqued. Those, depending on your hardware, the 8.8s get 18 pound-feet, and the 10.9s get 25 pound-feet. If you only have an inch pounds, you multiply those numbers by 12 and it gives you the inches. But it's all in, everything's all tightened down. The clutch disc is centered and it is ready to pull the pin. So we can just, and it slides out. And to double check your work, you just want this to be able to slide in and out very easily. If there's lots of tension on it, you're gonna have a hard time getting the transmission in and lined up, because this needs to be centered in the pressure plate so that the input shaft can go directly into the pilot bearing. So my biggest issue with working on cars is putting something down and it disappearing. So, you know how I said the clutch kit comes with a new throwout bearing? Well, here's the old throwout bearing. And granted, it's not bad like the pilot bearing was. Like, it makes a little bit of noise, but it's not as bad. The issue I'm running into is it comes with a brand new one, and I just had it in my hand to the point where I came over to my shelf over here and grabbed grease for it. But now the grease and the throwout bearing are nowhere to be found. I have zero clue where I put them down. Well, that's a weird place to put it. Found it just when I'm getting ready to give up and come back at it tomorrow with fresh eyes. I found it. I have a feeling, because I did go outside, I went outside that direction. I have a feeling I put it down right before I went outside and just forgot about it, because when I came back inside from going outside, I went straight to doing the flywheel. So, crisis averted. We found the throwout bearing and the grease after digging through the trash twice. But we're good to go now. Let's get this thing done. So you see, the car is out of the garage. It turned into a bit of a shit show. So I got the trans all back in, I got the exhaust mounted back up, the drive shaft back in place, and then I put the slave cylinder in the transmission and lowered the car, I started the car, went to put the car in gear, and it wouldn't go in gear. Now I know that I put the clutch disc in the right way, and the clutch is disengaged when it's in neutral. So I know that it's not the clutch disc, or I knew that it wasn't the clutch disc. So it had to be an issue with the hydraulics, which is strange because all I did was unbolt the slave from the transmission. I didn't disconnect any hoses. I didn't open the system at all. I didn't open any bleeders. All I did was unbolted the slave from the transmission. It is an external slave, so if you just unbolt it, in theory, you don't have to do any re-bleeding when you put the new clutch in. But for some reason, there's got to be like a small leak or something in the system, maybe, or maybe it was just a little bit low on fluid when I don't know. I literally have no idea. But I got it to, it was a pain to bleed it. Somehow a ton of air got in the system. But currently, clutch in, and honestly, the clutch feels so much better than it did before too. There was definitely a pressure plate problem. But I can clutch in first, second, third, fourth. Fifth is kind of annoying because whoever put this here did not think that they would ever be putting it in fifth gear. So fifth gear is literally, it touches that to get into fifth gear. Yeah, so definitely a crappy handbrake. Not that it doesn't work good, it works great, but it's just the positioning that is terrible. You could not use this as a street, well, you could use it as a street car, but fifth gear, you kind of have to watch your hand, because if you hold it like this, you're smashing your knuckles on the hydro. But it goes into all the gears, goes into reverse. I'm happy with that, so I'm just gonna grip it around in the lot a little bit just to make sure that it's good. It's wet and patchy, so I'm not worried about like leaving marks or anything on the pavement. Just gonna rip her around and see how the new clutch feels, and see if we can like spin the tires in second gear. That's the main thing, is will the tires spin in second gear? Obviously the tires on the rear are bald, it's wet and snowy and patchy in the parking lot, so it shouldn't have a problem. It should be just like, normal, but we'll see. But that's gonna do it. Clutch is all set. Had fun in the snowstorm. Hope you guys had a great week.